I would trade him for nothing if someone's willing to take the 3.1, but I actually think he has a lot more value than that, Liam. What do you think of Yamamoto?
Yeah, I think a buyout would be my last option for Yamamoto. I
Yeah.
mean, he is only 24 years old. He is a
Mhm.
former first-round pick, so he's got that peg to him a little bit too. He scored 20 goals in the league before. There's got to be a market out there for him, and I agree with you on I wouldn't attach too much to him to get him out of town. I mean, you just got a third-round pick for Nick Bukestad, so I think you need those picks down the road at the deadline. You want to have as many assets as you can, so trading Yamamoto would be my last option, even before buying him out. I'd even keep him on the team before I buy him out, to be honest. And yeah, we'll see. But those numbers are team friendly, right? Would you say 450 year one, 5 something year two? Like those numbers, they're not going to affect you
basically.
Yeah, so you're not going to get hit too hard with it. So I can understand why the others would go that way, but I would look for a trade.
Guitar Maniac says, better to buy him out and accrue cap space for the deadline. Yes, Tyler Mulick, if he's on the opening night roster, you still accrue cap space. But it gives you more wiggle room in the summer here is kind of the point. And listen, I'd like Yamamoto to have a better year next year if he's healthy. But that's just such a big if for this team. And I don't think you want them operating in LTIR for any chunk of the season again. You would rather, like Guitar Maniac says, if it's between putting him on LTIR, but again, that would mean he's hurt and you can't buy out a hurt player, so it probably doesn't make too much sense to go down that rabbit hole. I think you can trade him, though. I really do. I think there are teams out there who will look at a 24-year-old former first-round pick and say, hey, we view the potential in this guy. Dallas traded Denis Gurianov and got Evgeny Dadonov in that deal. And that was a bit of a, swap a young guy with upside for an older guy with a not great contract. And I have an idea on that a little bit later on as well. In fact, I might move up the trade machine segment a little bit earlier into the show here. But Yamamoto makes sense as a buyout, but I would put the percentage of it, Liam, at like 5%. Because again, I think he has value on the trade market in terms of actually getting something for him. I would not be surprised if Yamo fetched you a third-round pick, if Yamo fetched you a D-man maybe in the right package, if Yamo fetched you another forward that a team is, maybe not as high on and maybe he's cheaper as well. I think there is a 70% chance they move the guy. I think there is a 5% chance they buy him out and a 25% chance he's back next year. Do you have an answer to kind of how that all fizzles out, how you assign those numbers?
So, sorry, what was it again? What was the trade? 50% is what you said for a trade?
I said 70% trade, 5% buyout, 25% chance he's back.
Yeah, I think the buyout I would keep around the 5% too. I would put him coming back at like a 10%. Then what's the rest of that? 85. That's whatever the rest is. That 85% chance of being traded?
Yep.
Yeah, that seems about right. Yep. Yeah, that's what I'll do. 85% chance of being traded, 10% on the team, 5% of a buyout.
Here's why I'm not as high as you on that number. Remember last year at this time, we were sitting here going, well, JP's gone. There's no way the Oilers are bringing back Jesse Puljujarvi for another season. But what do we know about Ken Holland as a GM? And even if he's only or if he's elevated to just being the president of hockey ops, he would still have say in this. He never sells a player for less than he thinks he's worth. And if he sits there and again, teams are going, give us a fourth and we'll take Yamamoto. Or you have to take $3 million in salary back, and you're sitting there going, well, there's no players that I view as being worth that, so I'm not doing the deal. Holland has a tendency to hold on to guys like this. And like we saw with Puljujarvi, when Yamamoto next year is in the final year of his deal, I think there is always a chance that at the deadline, you just dump him. And some team says, yeah, we'll test drive him for 2 months, kind of like the Canes did again with Puljujarvi.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point because, like you said, I think everyone just assumed Jesse Puljujarvi was a goner after his last game last season against Colorado, and then obviously stuck around a little longer than anticipated, which was fine, obviously. But maybe Yamo's our next guy. I just wonder though, like maybe the cap is just a little bit too tight for the Oilers to mess around with that anymore, and they just need to kind of free that up. Like Yamo is a $3 million guy who the Oilers need to find that top six forward, and it, like you said earlier on, like. If you have a situation where you can get Connor Brown for maybe the same amount of money, you have to move out Yamamoto. I don't think the others would hesitate to jump at the opportunity to have Brown rather than a Yamamoto.